This is by far the strangest, weirdest, and most unique guitar plugin I've ever tried in my entire life. Blob Narok from Blob Audio. Look at this interface. There is so much stuff going on in this plugin. In a world where guitar plugins are trying to look as sleek and minimal as possible, Blob Audio decided to go the complete opposite direction. They decided to give us something that was loud, weird, completely ridiculous to look at in the best way possible. Wacky looks aside, how does it sound? Underneath the visuals and all of that wackiness in the plugin, it has quite literally everything that you would need to sculpt a guitar tone. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Starting from the bottom, you have your universal gate that kind of goes across the whole plugin. You then have a detune function, so you can detune your guitar and DI going into the plugin, which is really helpful. There's also an inbuilt limiter, which you can set the custom BPM to, time signature, how many bars you want it to loop, when you want it to start. On the bottom right of the plugin, you have the IR menu where you can custom load your own IRs into the plugin through this directory here, which is a cool way to go about it. It also has MIDI functionality, which I know a lot of people use. Before we get into the 3 separate amps and cabs, let's go to the top left here. So as you can see, there's like this kind of like cross graphic, and there's 4 different things you can choose from. So if we click on the left, that brings us to our pre-effect. You have a compressor, an overdrive, you have an octave and a fuzz built in the same pedal. You also have a pre-delay and a wah as well. So again, everything that you'd ever need in a pre-effect section is pretty much there. Going on to the post-effect section, you have a forever reverb that you can either dial in delay to reverb, parallel, or reverb to delay. You also have this kind of arpeggiator here, and this Lacelli, I'm not even sure how to pronounce it. I'm not exactly sure what it does, but it sounds really cool. Moving on to the right here, you can see that it actually has a multi-voicer in the plugin as well. So you can set up to 4 pitches and choose between different chord presets and stuff. Having a multi-voicer in the plugin, I meant it when I said that this plugin literally has everything. And then lastly, you have your post-processing section. So things like 2 separate EQs, one of them with fixed bands, others where you can kind of control the exact band and the width of that band as well. So you can get a little bit more surgical. Compressor, transient designer, if you really want to get into your tone, and again, a limiter on the bottom. Going on to the actual amps themselves. Now, truthfully, I could not tell you what they're modeling. I typically stick to this amp and this amp a little more, and I've made tones with both of them that I'll show you later in the video. Down here on the bottom of the plugin is like your cab section. So there is no separate screen for cab. It's like right there. So you can quickly adjust amp settings, adjust cab settings, which is like actually kind of nice instead of needing to go to a separate page. You have different microphones that you can choose from. You can set the position, the distance, and all that stuff, and the volume of each microphone. So you can get either a 50-50 mix, whatever your heart desires. And this definitely gives you a lot of tonal variety. And if you're really wanting to sculpt your tone and get nerdy with it, you can with the Blob Narok plugin. So let's go through the tones that I made. So the first one is called The Tone. I've only got the overdrive on. I've got the bass dialed low, treble dialed high, volume all the way up, gain just dialed up a little bit. I'm using the last amp on the high gain channel. Again, I've got lows dialed pretty low, a mid scoop slightly, and a little bit of high definition up in the treble knob. 57 down here, a ribbon 121 down here, and they both sound great. The next tone I've made is called Forever Clean, and I just wanted something that was like a really ethereal, clean tone. Starting in the pre-effect section, I actually have the drive turned up, volume all the way, gain all the way off, and bass all the way down. So it's not really making it not clean. It's kind of just giving it a little bit of grit. So contextually in a song, it would still sound like a clean tone, but you know, for the purists out there, whatever, it's not 100% clean, and it is running through the comp as well. This little trick here with using an overdrive on a clean tone in this fashion is a really easy way to get your clean tones to cut through a dense mix. I'm using the first amp on the clean channel. Going into the post effects section, I have the delay pedal going into the reverb pedal here, and I think this one on the bottom right, I think it's a chorus pedal, but I really liked it at these settings, so I kept it that way. And then I am going into the arpeggiator as well. I am doing a little bit of EQ post-processing, so I've kind of dipped around that mid-range, felt that it was too boxy on a clean tone, and then I really brought up the high end past 16K just to get that really nice glassy characteristic. The last preset I made is this stupid sounding preset. It's called Instant Dissonance, and that's exactly what it is. Going into the distortion channel of the first amp with drive all the way up, and truthfully, like, these settings don't really matter too much once you hear what the tone sounds like, but post effects section just has a touch of reverb, a touch of delay. This kind of makes it seem a little bit more 3D without it sounding so dry, and with a tone like this, it makes a lot of sense. And then the star of this tone is 100% the harmonizer here. So you can see that I've got two pitches selected, and I've got -1 and +1 on either side. What you get is this really chromatic, really dissonant, disgusting kind of sound. Whenever I pick a note, it's pretty much playing the exact note 1 fret below and 1 fret apart at the same time. It's really helpful for like breakdowns and stuff like that if you wanted to kind of go down that way. I just thought it sounded cool, and this is what it sounds like. So apart from the wacky visuals of the plugin, you can probably tell that it has pretty much anything that you'd expect for a modern guitar amp sim. And if you can kind of get used to the visuals, there is a lot that you can do with this plugin. Shout out to Blob Audio for sponsoring this video. If you guys want to get this plugin yourself, it'll be linked down in the comments and the description below. But until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. Ciao.